Hello everyone and welcome back to the Emperor BTC channel. Today's video is going to be a BTC market update. So in our last market update on this day last week, we were looking at this retest on the way back up with targets of this 100k level. As of the moment on the higher time frame, if we look at the wider range of this high and this low being our range low and range high, we had this range form here where you can see we've kind of got it highlighted with this high of this black line across, and then this 100k level, which is a round number paired with these relatively equal lows that were acting as support. Then we kind of had that SFP before we pushed up after finding significant resistance in this area. We got above, and then we've kind of had this distribution range and a lot of chop where we're taking out highs and then reversing, then taking out lows and then reversing, taking out highs and then reverse again. So very much a distribution-esque range above a higher time frame range high. So of course it's a daily time frame, but if we were even on a 15-minute time frame and you had a range like such and then got above, this could potentially be the SFP, which then drops down into distribution back below these lows and accumulation. So that's potentially what's on the cards here, given now, and if I clean up the chart up quick, given now that we've had this kind of significant and sharp move to the downside. Of course, we had this long wick, which I believe was pinpointed to this negative point of control on this end. Yeah, so this negative point of control, you can see tagged it and reversed away. We can see that we had this retracement back up into this area, and there's kind of a lot of confluence in this region. And it's really nice, especially you can see it on these sort of moves, that you want to be looking to have your entry when the market is coming up into an area rather than seeing, let's say, this big red candle here. And then you kind of get a shallow retracement and being like, oh, well, the market is going down. I want to be really enthusiastic and get into a short. Where if you kind of wait, price tends to get some sort of retracement, and we did retrace into this area, which of course we had highlighted in our last video because there was just numerous confluence. So you have this big gray zone, which is a higher time frame point of interest, and we'll just go back to the daily to have a quick look. So again, just it's been quite significant in this region, paired with, of course, the higher time frame range highs. So we got back into that area paired with a negative point of control here. You can see which essentially formed the high, and then I'm sure if we take out our Fibonacci tool and extend it like this, get the 618 on. So right in that 618 level, paired with a negative point of control, paired with the higher time frame point of interest, paired with, I'm sure some people would say this is a supply zone. So a lot of confluence in that area to look for shorts. I mean, back down towards this negative point of control on the 4 hour. I think there's one just here as well, which we might just get through down into this one. Then of course the low, and then where I think we inevitably end up in around this 100k level, which then has this negative point of control just underneath it, which potentially then acts as a really nice confluence zone for potentially range play from this consolidation. So maybe we've got acceptance here back inside this range. So between, of course, the low down here and then I guess the higher time frame range high, or you could argue this level, the 112k level. So we potentially got acceptance back in that range, especially on this retracement back up, where you probably would have wanted to see, well, can we get back above and then maybe flip back onto this level? and then this will just look like a deviation of these relative equal lows in hindsight. But we've rejected here so far. We could potentially find some support in this region and push back up, and I'll clean up the chart because I know it's getting messy. So we could potentially maybe bounce here and get a push back up. Then all of a sudden things don't look as bad, and then this was just a massive flush out where we swept these relatively equal lows, got below, came back down. Whole market kind of flipped bearish. We've come up now. We are rejecting here, and I am bearish, but if we do hold and push back up and get something like this, well, then potentially you look for an entry long on a move like this back towards this region and this region here, the 118k level. But I think that's quite far-fetched, and it's just to give kind of a bullish scenario. I think at the moment, it's more likely that we get down back towards that 103k level, and of course the 105k level beforehand where this negative point of control is. And then I would look for some longs if we have the right price action. So what I tend to mean is you have areas of significance. So I might say confluence. So you have an area where there's numerous different variables that you have the data that backs up that when price gets there, sometimes price likes to reverse away from that area or there's a certain outcome. So in an area like this, if we kind of trickle down, I mean, even if we get momentum down to here and then kind of start to get this low volume move into this area, then you see buyers step in here and we get a lower time frame push up. That might be your confluence to enter. Or you might see I do a lot of these drawings. So you might get a shift in order flow in confluence with volume in an area where there is numerous different confluences or variables, and then that becomes your entry. So if you do see me looking at level to level trading, which is 99% of the trading I do, even though we get to them levels, I don't just trade them blindly. There is kind of an almost coder mentality to it. It's not just binary. It's more of if then. So if we get here and then something happens, well then maybe I'll look to get into a trade in that region. So if we just drop down to the 1 hour quickly, you can see that we are starting to push up here. We could potentially push up to back into this 110k region, and then that could potentially be a scalp short in around this kind of consolidated area where buyers and sellers probably stepped in. You get back into that area, that could potentially be some sort of scalp short, and similar to this price action here where you kind of have the confluence of the 618, it probably works the same here where you have confluence in that region in around the 618. So that could potentially be a nice scalp short, looking to, of course, maybe take some profits in this region because we're currently finding support in this kind of consolidation before we started to push back up. I think now we're in kind of a 4 hour point of interest where you've got, as I said, we showed numerous confluences on the higher time frame that have lined up. So we potentially then could have a scalp short here. Your take profits could be just simply this area because we've bounced here twice already. Then if you were to get below, it could potentially be an SFP paired with this negative point of control. That could be a take profit too. And then your final take profit could be this low here. So that's all for this week's quick BTC market update video. I didn't do an altcoin market update video last week just because there was so much going on in the alt space. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But this week I'll be doing it no matter what. So do feel free to comment some of the alts you would like me to check out. And of course, I will also be covering the alts that we have done numerous times before. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, follow the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.